Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Five Drinks at Midnight, the show where we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks, and we try to wrap up before midnight. Today we're talking to Lauren Riggleman, aka Baby Hooch. She's the master distiller of Silverback Distilleries out of Virginia. But before we do, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all the thingies, really help us out. Let's get started. So much for joining us. Five drinks or midnight, five drinks, midnight, whatever comes first. First of all, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to trying a lot of this stuff. So how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here and do a little drinking with you.
Excellent. Well, I guess what's our first drink?
So today we have one of our clear spirits and then a lot of whiskey. So I thought we would start with our clear. So we have our Strange Monkey Gin. So this is one of the first products that we started with. So we opened in 2014. We just had a vodka and gin to start, and the Strange Monkey was one of those. So it's become kind of one of our flagships because it's not a typical gin. It's not as juniper heavy. So to be honest, we didn't love gin, so kind of felt like you were drinking a Christmas tree. So we cut back on the juniper. We loaded it with a bunch of citrus, coriander, it's a really bright floral citrusy gin that's just easy to sip on. So it's converted a lot of people who come in the distillery and they're like, hey, I don't drink gin. I had a bad experience. And we're like, no. This is kind of the gin for you then. And it's kind of converted a lot of people. So
excellent. Yeah. Well, yeah. So here, love that pop. I'm one of those people. Like until doing the show, like gin and beer were like two of the most vile things on the planet. And now, like my tastes have changed a little bit, and like people's gins are growing on me, and like I think I love the craft distillery gin versus like the big guys, because that still to me tastes like rubbing alcohol, and I need to wear a monocle to drink that. So like
I totally get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this might be the gin for you then.
Excellent. And correct me if I'm wrong, but our social stalking, like this is what kind of started everything for the distillery. I mean, you came out, you won awards right off the bat with this. Yeah. Like you guys have like kicking ass, taking names from day one. So like, right? Like this.
Yeah. So we were open 6 months, and my mom decided to enter the San Francisco World Spirits competition. And I was kind of like, hey, are you sure, Mom? Like, is it worth it? And she was like, why not? Like, it's a blind taste test. Let's just give it a shot. So we submitted and we didn't hear anything. And then we're like, they released the winners. We're looking through the website and I see double gold Strange Monkey Gin. And I was like, is there another Strange Monkey? Like, what is going on? Well, they had our email wrong. So they weren't able to notify us. So like we found out that way that we had won double gold in the San Francisco World Spirit Competition, and we had just opened. Like it was awesome. And that kind of just like kicked things off for us. And the gin's just been super popular. It's been great. And then my mom was named like one of the top 13 gin distillers through MSN.com that same year. So we just, have been rolling with it since then.
Excellent. Well, yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, nice nose. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Am I supposed to nose gin?
Yeah, you can for sure. Because in addition to juniper, there are so many different botanicals that you can include in gin. There's a wide variety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this in a gin and tonic on a summer day is great.
That's agreed. This is, again, the craft distillery gin. I'm becoming a big fan. So I got to change my position on, I don't like gin anymore. So that's good.
Yeah. I love the Strange Monkey. It's great. Yeah, so again, that kind of helped like put us on the map a little bit.
Excellent. Well, then on to question one. So it's a little bit of an origin story, but how does somebody that was going to be a psychologist end up a master distiller?
Oh, that is a great question. So when my parents decided to start a distillery, I was in my third year at the University of Virginia studying to be a clinical psychiatrist. So thought I was going to be in school for a long time, and that's what I was going to do. So my mom kind of, on a whim was like, I think we should do this. And we were all just like, yep, we're on board. So I finished my undergrad in psychology. And I scheduled all my classes my last year to be Tuesday through Thursday. So I started with running our tasting room. So I did that all weekend. And then found out about a program in Scotland through Harriet Watt to get my master's degree in fermentation sciences, and just kind of was like, I'm so interested in the production stuff, like, let's do it. So I went to Scotland for a year, got my master's degree in fermentation sciences, and now here I am. So,
yeah. And again, you work with your mom. For anybody that doesn't know, you're the first mother-daughter duo distillery that there is. But I mean, your mom, I guess you can't be too mad that like you dropped out or you finished school, but like you didn't use that degree to actually become a psychologist.
Right. We joke sometimes that I still use my degree because up until recently I was still in the tasting room. So I was still on the other side of the bar talking to people, about life and stuff like that. So still applies.
I was joking with Brody. I was like, what, she used her like psychology mind to like get into the yeast and like all like that kind of thing. So like
why does the yeast act the way it does?
Yeah. Single-celled organisms. Yes. Or you could fix people's problems and start people's problems all in one. Like you have a constant like business going through. So
yeah, exactly. Just subscribe a little whiskey or prescribe a little whiskey and we're good to go.
Excellent. Well, that's question one. Super easy, really painful. The Band-Aid's off and we're doing good. So
we're rolling. I love it. I'm so glad you like the gin. That's really cool.
It is really, really good. Like you're absolutely right. Like this is getting a lot of, I mean, maybe it's just me, but a lot of lemon out of it. Like, so like that's.
Yeah, we use lemon peel, bitter orange, and sweet orange.
Yeah, so like that, a lot of citrus out of that. I get a lot of lemon, which you're absolutely right. Like that on a gin and tonic would just, or even like a corpse reviver would be just absolutely amazing. Yeah. So
I drink it in a Tom Collins too pretty often. I make like a little cucumber mint summertime drink with it. That's great. So like, especially this time of year, like the gin is kind of one of my go-tos.
Excellent. Well, on to question 2.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What we're drinking next. So next, let's do the rye. So let's do the Lucky 13 rye.
Got that one. Boom.
Beautiful. So this one is unfortunately out of stock right now. So you have a little bit of a limited guy right now.
Maybe I shouldn't open it. No, just kidding.
No, we have to try it. So our Lucky 13 rye, why it's called Lucky 13 is because initially we have not sourced at all. So we laid barrels down and we waited, which is really difficult. We were going through the barrel barn. We were trying some samples and one of our rye barrels was 13 months old. And we're like, this is pretty young for rye, but we were doing aging in 30-gallon barrels. So we tried it and we were like, oh my gosh, this is delicious. So our very first release of our Lucky 13 was only 13 months old. So now it's progressed to a little older, and it's a 70% rye whiskey with corn and malted barley. This is also the base of what we're going to try next, our honey rye, and that is our biggest seller. So a lot of our straight rye is allocated for the honey. So, but yeah, so this was one of the first whiskeys that we came out with, and we still have it, but this is one of our more limited ones at this point. Usually when we release it, it's just a single barrel.
Excellent.
Mm.
All right. Oh yeah,
so this is kind of a little bit of a fun fact, but the rye is my favorite product that we make. So okay. I love the spice on it. So that's kind of
Yeah, it smells so good. Oh yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. That's damn good.
And it's honestly quite young. Because as a distillery, we're not even 7 years old. So some of these rye releases right now are still around the 2 to 3 year mark. Now our alpha releases, which we'll get to later, are older offerings, but we just don't have a lot of whiskey that's incredibly old yet. But we're trying to fix that problem, and we've made a lot of whiskey this year. But for the age, this rye is just like easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is just, oh, absolute. This is so fucking good.
Yeah, I love the rye.
Oh, that was worth the wait. That was, oh, it is so good. Okay, so then on to question 2.
Okay.
Where does Silverback come from? Because as far as I know, there's no primates running around like wild in Virginia. So I think I know, but like it will be my follow-up question. But where did the idea of Silverback come from?
That is a fantastic question, because this is one of our most frequently asked in both of our tasting rooms. So Silverback actually comes from my dad's nickname. So my dad grayed very early, and I'm one of 3 girls, and we're all very close in age. So he said with 3 girls that close, you're either going to gray or go bald. You have no choice, because we were all teenagers at the same time. But he was a power lifter. You know, he's a stocky guy. And my sisters and I used to joke that like when he got angry, he'd kind of like walk around like this, because he's usually like super kind, but like, you know, walk around like this. So we've been calling him that since we were kids. His friends have been calling it, like, it's just a very, like, it's his nickname. So my dad sold one of his companies when we started Silverback, and this was my mom's kind of dream. And so he was able to fund her dream. So she wanted to name it after him. And then we just kind of went crazy with the monkey motif from there. We were like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. I'm not going to lie. My dad looked into getting a zoo license because we have 50 acres here. He was like, I want a Silverback. Was not going to work out at all. But he was like, yes, let's do it. So instead we have like a big like gorilla out front that people can take pictures with. But so it all stems from my dad's nickname. We call him our resident Silverback. But yeah, that's the story.
That's what I had thought, or during our social stalking we had found out. But your dad, like the picture on the website, your dad looks like such a nice guy, and he doesn't look like a gorilla at all. So like that's where I was.
I changed that picture very recently, actually. So, but yeah, and I think, yeah, when he like gets angry, you know. But yeah, and the gray hair is kind of the big.
I gotcha.
So
amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How old is this again? You said
so mine is a year and a half. I'm not sure how old yours is.
Mine is a year and a half as well. Sorry, I just thought, yeah.
So like for the age, how this sips, we have some 30 gallons that are around the 5 to 6 year mark, and going through and trying some of those is really exciting. I love the rye, and I love how it's coming along. But once you try the honey, and I'll kind of explain to you just like the craziness that is the honey rye, because it's a little nuts.
On to question 3.
Okay.
All right, what are we drinking?
This is honey rye time.
All right.
So this is our biggest seller. And we didn't anticipate it to be so. We thought we'd do something a little unique. And my mom bought some raw honey that's local to us here in Nelson County in Virginia. And we made a liqueur with it. And the rye that you just had, we dumped the barrel and we blended the honey liqueur with the rye. Thus, our honey rye was born. Our release weekend, we sold out right away. Since we've come out with it, it is our biggest seller every single month by a very large factor. So I I think just because it's a little bit sweet, so it's a little lesser proof than the straight rye. So our Lucky 13 is 86 proof. The honey is 70 proof. So it's just, you know, it's supposed to be like an easy sipper. You know, for me, it's like a little bit of a dessert. Like I'll start my evening with this and then I'll, you know, switch to the rye or something like that. We've had people put it over ice cream, like use it in desserts. Someone made a pound cake with it. Like it's just, it's so good. It's so easy. Yeah. So
cannot wait. All right.
Ooh. And it's real honey. So, and you'll be able to tell it's like, oh, this, am I in a honeycomb right now? Like,
oh, that smells amazing. Oh. Oh yeah, that is fucking amazing. Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. That is so good.
Our life at the moment is keeping up with honey demand, typically. So that's what we're trying to work on. But the honey rye is,
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, that is really fucking good. You're right. It is sweet, but it's a good sweet. Like it's not like a rot your teeth like sugar thing. Like this is something that, oh yeah, like you.
And I think it's like it's obvious that it's real honey. Like you can certainly get that, and even the mouthfeel is heavy. Yeah. Like it's certainly honey.
Do you have? So I've been told that it's really hard to distill with real honey. Is like, do you have a different still for that?
So, or yeah, so we actually we don't distill the honey. What we do is we just kind of like heat it with our vodka. So we just kind of do it that way because yeah, it's really thick. We have to filter it multiple times to get it the consistency that we want. So dealing with raw honey is definitely something that we've had to work through and figure out. But it, you know, so this product takes the most work, but everybody loves it. So like we're totally willing to do it. So yeah, so we just kind of heat it and then go from there.
That is amazing. No, really, like that is so fucking good. Honestly, like that is, all right, no smoke up your ass because you're on the show, but it is just really fucking good. Like that is, wow.
Little ice cubes. Like I said, this is kind of like my after dinner drink, or like, you know, it's just, it's yummy. Like it's just.
Yeah. And what proof it's
70. Yeah. 70, so yeah. Little lesser proof than our other whiskeys, but that's kind of, we were looking for something in that realm. So we kind of call it like our gateway whiskey. Like it's a good, like people who don't like whiskey like the honey, people who like the whiskey like the honey. Like it's a really great combination of the two worlds.
Yeah. Okay. That is. Yep. Okay. Well, then on to question 3. So from undergrad of psychologist to going to Scotland to get your master's, master distiller, and then professor. Like when do you fucking sleep? But what advice would you have for somebody wanting to start out, or what do you tell your students that is like the best advice if you ever want to be a distiller?
So fortunately now there are a lot of resources for people who want to get into distilling, even more so when I started looking into it, you know, 4 years ago. There are a lot of courses that are offered. So like, you know, for me, my course is at a local community college. So if you're in Virginia, check out PVCC courses, but we have an intro to distilling course. A lot more of your local colleges are starting to offer these type of programs. Also, there's great resources like Moonshine University. They're incredible. My program through Harriet Watt offers a distance learning option. So if you don't have the ability like I did to up and move to Scotland for a year, they offer a remote option. So my advice is, you know, you definitely, the background is helpful. Learning the why behind what you're doing in a distillery is so advantageous. But if you can't do that, just go learn hands-on. Like just, you know, there are tons of distilleries looking for help. Like just go get into it. You also don't necessarily have to have the experience. A lot of people that I know in the industry just had an interest and just dove in. Like, so, you know, check your local distillery, see if they're offering any courses. Really now there are a lot more avenues to get involved. There are like your whiskey clubs that might have, you know, some programs or know people that do. So, so yeah, you definitely want the hands-on. And if you can get some sort of like education as well, that is great. That is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that yeah, just go do it is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. And especially like if you're a female, go do it, because now more and more women are getting involved. And like, you know, out of my program, there was maybe 5 women in the course. Like, you know, it's becoming more and more normal to see a woman in the distillery, which is incredible. Like, so if you're not sure, like, just do it. Awesome. Yeah, you're not going to regret it. This field is incredible, and the people that you get to meet, like, awesome.
On to drink 4, question 4.
Okay, so next up we have our Blackback bourbon. So I will tell you why our whiskeys right now are named Blackback, because that's also a really common question. So Blackbacks are the younger gorillas before they get their silver. So they get their silver around 8 to 12 years old. And because our whiskeys are a little younger at this point, you know, a little more aggressive, this is our Blackback series. So once we have whiskeys that are old enough to be a silverback, then they will be called such. So,
oh, nice.
Researched a lot about gorillas at this point in our life. So, so our bourbon is a wheated bourbon. So there's no rye in our bourbon. So it's 67% sweet white corn and then wheat and malted barley. Most of our bourbon batches at this point are single barrel or 2 to 3 barrels at most. We're still pretty small scale. And the bourbon is 86 proof, like the rye. We use char 4 barrels from Independent Stave Company down in Kentucky. So they've been great to us. We do a lot of aging with their barrels, and we actually just had a local cooperage open up for us in Virginia. So we started using their barrels as well. So I'm excited to see how that whiskey turns out. But,
nice.
Yeah. But typically
not question 4, but just like, are you really in, like, I guess what gets you really excited? Like, is it the mash bill? Is it the build, or is it the wood, or is it all of it? Like, what gets you like really excited, like distilling?
Yes. So I am a huge fan of maturation and learning about maturation, especially with your whiskeys. Like your base product is so important, but what the barrel is going to do to your distillate, I love that. And like, that's one of my favorite sections to teach in my course. Is I just think that aging is really cool. You know, the different char levels, the different components that you can get, all the chemical reactions that are happening to create this like incredible final product that is so different from what came out of your still. So yeah, so I love all of it, but like filling barrels, talking about maturation, and then dumping the barrel, like that's my favorite.
On to question 4. You guys are kicking ass, taking names, winning awards left and right. I mean, all so far well fucking deserved in my opinion. What's next? Like, again, not looking for a scoop, but like, what's next for you guys?
Yeah. So, what's next is I am working on a rum, which I'm really excited about. So that's what? It's like a brand new product for us. And for me, this is the first product that, since coming back from my program, that I'm kind of getting to take the lead on, which is really, really exciting for me. So the rum is in the works. I'm in test batch process right now, so it's still, you know, not going to be super soon. So we're working on that. And something that we're coming out with very soon is a 4-grain bourbon blend, which, yeah. So we've kind of come to this growing point where we just didn't make enough whiskey 3+ years ago to supply our current demand. So we had a big decision to make. And what we've done is we've actually blended some of our barrels with some barrels that we have selected from another distillery. So this is the first time we've done something like this. But what's cool is that the barrels that we selected were bourbons made with rye. So we're blending them with our wheated bourbon. So this is our first kind of blend. But what's exciting about it is it's not just a single barrel. So we're going to have it for, you know, hopefully a little bit of time so we don't run out right away. Because that's kind of what happens is we have a new release and it's gone. So this is something that we hope to keep in stock. And that's coming out probably in August. So yeah, so we're just working on like final approvals for that. So
all right, well then looking forward to that. Then
yeah, so that's going to be really neat. That'll be a little higher proof actually as well. That'll be 92 proof, whereas our standard bourbon right now is 86. So it'll be a little different, little unique, but something that we're super excited about. So yeah, so we have a couple new products in the works. We have a new Alpha series coming. So the Alpha, which we'll try next, is like single barrel high proof offerings. So we have a few of those in the works, but yeah, and then we're just trying to make a lot of whiskey.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Again, nothing wrong. Please keep making a lot of whiskey because
yeah. So we the first 6 months of this year, we've put more whiskey in barrels than we did in 2019 and 2020 combined.
Awesome.
So we are cranking it out.
That's well, one, kudos, because again, all of this is amazing. It was so well worth the wait. So like, it's just so fucking good. But like, two, yeah, please keep making more, because like, and everybody like, please, like, yeah, find friends in Virginia to send you guys something. Yeah. Like that's the
Virginia or Pennsylvania. We can ship within Pennsylvania, which is cool. So find friends in either state, and we'll try to hook you up.
Yeah, find some friends, and then just send and. Yeah. On to our last final question.
Okay. So I saved the highest proof for last. So this is our Alpha series. This is something that we're really excited about. We love to do these, and these are typically single barrel or maybe a few partial barrels, but they're older than what our standard offering is. So they're typically around the 5-year mark, which for us, being not even 7 years old is very old for us. And also they're typically higher proof. So that's kind of what makes it an Alpha in our mind. So the one that you have is 112, I believe, because we've had a few different offerings.
Yep, 112.
Yeah,
112. Or 117? Can't tell. Oh, hang on. There we go.
I think it's supposed to be 112.
All right, 112.
Yeah, so, and yours is 3 years, I believe. So
it is, yes.
It's the same mash bill as our bourbon, but it's just older and a higher proof. So we've also done an Alpha for our rye. So we've done a few different Alphas. We did an Alpha series for our corn whiskey, which we don't have any more of. We had a sour mash corn. So yeah, it's just supposed to be, more limited, higher proof, older whiskey. So, and we did it in the 375s in an effort to kind of get it to more people. But we still usually sell out pretty fast. The next Alpha series that we're planning is our biggest yet. And it's probably going to be at least 4 or 5 barrels, which is pretty hefty for us. So yeah, so that is the Alpha.
Awesome. So here, go ahead and pop that.
Little more of a kick, which I love.
Oh yeah. That smells absolutely amazing. Okay.
So this is a little teaser, but our next Alpha series is a whiskey that we have not released ever. So it's not bourbon. It's not rye. We have never released it.
And so the next. When does that happen?
So we literally just decided last week. So we're working on labels and proof and all that. So it'll probably be fall,
Okay.
Maybe. So it's going to be, we're shooting for 2021. But yeah, this alpha I am incredibly excited about. I will say one of the barrels that I got to tasted like a molasses cookie. Like it was totally unique. And the proof was 129. So it was, we were like, this is awesome. So that is something coming down the pipeline.
Question 5, but again, you're a family-owned business. I mean, your dad is there, your mom's there, your sister's there. You have another sister as well. Like, and
yep.
Like, what's it like to be? Again, everybody says family-run business, but like, I mean, fuck, like you guys are like family-run business. Like it's like super close. Like you work with your mom, like everything, like that. That is. What's that like?
It's really special, to be honest. Like our family has always been close. Like we're like an Air Force family. By the time I was 13, we had moved 13 times. Like we're a close group. And what I love about this industry and kind of like what we've done with Silverback is that like extension of family has gone to our staff, to the people that we meet. Like it's great. Like our staff knows that like if something comes up, like we're there for them, and I think that's something that I'm really fortunate. Like I love it. And because, my family knows me so well, like, we know when to push each other. We know when to kind of like be like, hey, they need their space. So that's really helpful. And my sister and I both have 1-year-olds. Like, very often we bring our daughters to work, like, and they're just a part of it too. And everyone is kind of, on board with that and helping me with her. Like, it's great. Like, it's the ability to like create something that you're super proud of with people that you really care about. And it's kind of the dream. So,
well, again, I can't say it enough. The stuff is absolutely amazing. Like that's, again, I think, so the Alpha Series is kicking ass in my brackets this month for Jumbo July, so which is amazing. Yes. So you guys are kicking ass, which is great. And now that even tasting it, even more well deserved. So like that is just amazing. Yeah, it just, again, all your stuff is just, it's killer. Like, again, and I'm not saying that because you're on the show, but like it really is just
that feedback like puts the, it makes the 16-hour distilling days worth it. Like it's, because distilling is not a retirement job. Like we tell people that, like, this is not something that you get into like just to, like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So that just means a lot, and I really appreciate it. And giving our small family business a platform is like just awesome.
So amazing. Like this is, I think
I'm so glad you've enjoyed this. This is awesome.
The Alpha Series, I mean, I kind of want to do a blend with the honey and the Alpha Series, but like that is, maybe I'll do.
Let's do it. I'll do it too.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
We just created magic.
I feel so warm and happy.
Oh
like, yeah. You blended our products. You came up with this.
There we go. Woohoo! Eat that, Brody. Right. On to question 5. Our last question of the night comes down to flip a little coin question. You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want. Okay. Don't have to answer. The coin answers for us. So you fuck yeah or fuck no. Okay. But I'm going to interview your mom next. I want to do a little family drama. So, are you a better distiller than your mom?
I'm afraid to flip this coin. What have you done? Okay, I'm gonna spin it.
Okay.
I'm terrified. Fuck no.
All right. Well,
the coin speaks.
I mean, again, not trying to start a family riff or anything like that, but you know, your mom
I really hope you ask her this question too.
I was going to say, your mom will now know after watching the episode what question 5 is for her. So, like, it'll be the first time somebody knows what question 5 is. But yeah, like that is.
Oh, that's funny. That is great.
I'm glad that you went with it, because otherwise you might have been like, that's a really rude question. Like, I was really worried about asking that question, but like.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. I love it.
Okay, good.
We like to say that my mom is the art behind our products and I'm the science. So it's a really great relationship, because she's like, okay, these are the flavors that I want. She picks out that kind of stuff and like is able to craft it. And I'm like, okay, this is how we can make things more efficient. And this is how we can get there. So it's been really great.
Again, so Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And again, now that we're family, if you're ever in New York, please look me up. And also, I'll see you in Virginia very soon.
In Virginia very shortly. Yes. It's got to happen.
That would be amazing. So thank you again. That's 5 drinks down, 5 questions, not even close to midnight. Thank you so much.
This has been a blast. I've loved this. This is